The end is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end. Yup, you thought we were done. But nope, right when the community is calming down a little bit, we got an update on monetization. And if there is something I've learned throughout the last 2 months, it's that the new $200 Jin skin started quite a conversation. Which is why I'm curious to see what's gonna come out of the news we just got. Because after the infamous arrival of Dark Cosmic Erasure Jin, and after Riot stated that it was an experiment to see how they can tackle new monetization aimed at whales, well, they are indeed continuing their experimentation. And so, we got a new update from Riot where they not only talk about how the release of Jin went, but also, as you can already see, we're getting a new skin in this series to be looking forward to, namely Breakout True Damage Echo. The update begins with the introduction of the product lead of the skin team. They mentioned that this is a follow-up to the last news we got on Jin, which was the post where they compared the two variations. And they mentioned that they are ready to give us an update on how they felt about Jin and what would be the next steps. Now, before we dive into this, remember what I said in the last video? How ultimately our opinion doesn't matter and that the only ones who could answer would be the whales? Well, the whales answered. So, right at the beginning of the update, we get news on Jin. Our TLDR is that Dark Cosmic Erasure Jin satisfied the specific needs of players who wanted a cool upgrade fantasy for Dark Cosmic Jin. So, here we have to pause after the very first sentence. Because as we feared, there would be those who would be tempted by the extremely prestigious gacha system. And according to Riot, those people were satisfied. I mean, I have to give it to Riot, they are being very straightforward with this. They know what is happening and so they immediately bring up news on Jin in the first line of this update. Which is a smart decision, because if they tried to be shady about this, everyone would twist everything against them. Especially since everyone is already irritated. But I can't shake the feeling that something is sketchy about this one. I mean, this skin was obviously aimed at the top 1% of the spenders. Meaning that entire group didn't have the loudest voice on the internet. So, how does Riot know about this? What kind of a metric would they have that would tell them, yeah, the whales are satisfied with how this is only a recolor of an already existing legendary skin? Like, how do you know they enjoyed this, and I quote, upgraded fantasy for Dark Cosmic Jin? Surely the only metric would be the amount of skins sold, or in this case the amount of spins in the gacha system bought. But not all of those guaranteed you the skin, so there isn't necessarily a one-to-one correlation to satisfaction. Well, it's not like it really matters. The point is, Dark Cosmic Jin was a successful gamble. Literally. And so, Riot continues. This won't be all we have to say on the subject, but we are trying the longer conversation to a broader monetization discussion we are planning for December. So yes, expect more videos talking about monetization in December. Christmas is gonna be glorious. We are grateful for all of your support. And we are excited to keep exploring this space and making improvements. Very quickly, I want to mention that this is actually nice to hear. Instead of just saying, yup, this works, let's pump out more of these, Riot is actually trying to tweak things to make it better for everyone. So credit where credit is due. Now let's see how this will hold after we finish these news. One improvement coming with this new Mythic variant showcase is reintroducing some Mythic essence to the milestones. We learned that there is a sizable group of people who aren't interested in completing a showcase track. That's all the people who just gambled to see if they can get lucky. But do want to buy some capsules because they want to get a bit more Mythic essence in between events. That's right, in case you forgot, or in case you purposefully buried your head in the sand to avoid this. To get Dark Cosmic Erasure Jin, you would have to buy capsules, which had a 1% chance to drop the skin, and were guaranteed to give you the skin at the 30th capsule. But along the way, you had some milestones that would give you extra loot, which wasn't really anything too meaningful. Sometimes it was some icons, emotes, with most of them being extra random skins from the Cosmic Skin line. So now, in the new version, instead of getting cosmic skins, which most people just bought in the past anyway, now you'll get some mythic essence, which can be spent in the mythic store for some higher quality cosmetics. Ironically, the mythic store is where the cheaper version of what they are selling now was previously sold. Anyway, at least the new mythic essence make you feel very slightly better about this. So then, the update dives deeper into this. For this showcase, we are going to change the milestone rewards to add 50 mythic essence and remove a random 1350 skin permanent. We are hoping this helps counter the feeling of all the value being solely placed on the final reward. You can see how the reward track looks at the bottom of this block. In the future, you can expect each showcase and its milestones to be a little bit different, to find what feels right when it comes to striking the balance between price and value. So why don't we jump into the milestones right away? The first thing we should mention is that yes, the price for all the milestones should still be about $200. There were no updates on the pricing, so we can assume everything will be the same. But then, as you can see, the new milestone track is indeed different. I think. Because when you look at them side by side, the first capsule still gives you an icon, number 3 is still an emote. From 5 to 20, you still get random skins based on themes, where previously it was the cosmic skin line and now we are getting musical skins. Number 25 still gives you 2 bags, and number 30 is still where the main prize is. So they just gave us 50 mythic essence on top of it. But also, you can see that even though the post mentioned that they are removing the random skin permanence, the skins are still here, so what's going on? You see, this is the second time I am recording this, because I am pretty sure the first time I recorded this video, I misunderstood this article. Because I thought that they are removing all skin permanence from all the milestones, and as you can see in the new milestones, they would be replaced with just normal skin shards. Hence why it doesn't say permanent. The difference is that a permanent skin gets unlocked immediately, but you would need orange essence, which you get by disenchanting other cosmetics, to activate a normal skin. So I thought we were getting mythic essence in exchange for using your orange essence. But it seems like that's not the case, and in fact it might be implied that in exchange for all the mythic essence, they are removing one permanent from the milestones. The issue is, if you look at the milestones, they are exactly the same. Even the bag gives you the same loot, so they had to make a mistake somewhere. And now we simply don't know where the permanent skin is gonna be taken out of. Which also made me realize this article is a bit of a mess. But now, here's another very interesting thing to point out. Nowhere in this entire post do they mention the drop chance of the skin from these capsules. Previously, the Jin skin had a 1% drop chance from the capsules. This way, everyone could feel like a whale if they got lucky. But here, that entire part wasn't even mentioned. So now, we don't know if the 1% chance is still there. Because Riot hasn't changed anything, it would suggest that yes, it should be there. But it is also possible that it can just no longer drop, essentially turning a gacha system into just an expensive skin. Not that it would be any different from before, because the drop chance was so low, there was no way you were gonna get it. So, I just don't know what's happening here, so it would be nice to get some clarification. Now, below this, they also talk about the musical skins and what's gonna be in the bags. The music skins will be random skins of any of the musical groups related skins. So, KDA, Pentakill, True Damage, and a certain new boy band that has popped up lately. Obviously, they are talking about Heartsteel. The music grab bag will contain 1 skin shard worth 1350 RP or below, 2 skin shards worth 975 RP or more, alongside a bonus chance at 2 skin shards worth 975 RP or more, as well as mythic essence. So is this an improvement over what we got before? Sure, it's not that big of a deal though. But now, after talking about what the new capsules will give us, and how Riot is essentially doubling down on $200 skins, let's have a look at the main prize. The new skin that is walking in the steps of Dark Cosmic Erasure Jin. The one and only Breakout True Damage Echo. Which, just like the previous Jin skin, is a recolor of an already existing legendary skin which he had before. Exactly like the legendary mythic chromas that existed in the past for 20 bucks. With the main difference being that here they call it a mythic variant instead of a mythic chroma skin like they did in the past. Even though in the past they accidentally called the new ones chromas in a tweet, so they took it down and fixed it. Anyway, here's what they have to say about this one. The majority of the feedback we ended up seeing was around lack of differentiation between Dark Cosmic Erasure Jin and the original Dark Cosmic Jin. Now, I'm gonna assume they are talking about feedback specifically around the visuals, because I am pretty sure most of the feedback was about the pricing. We felt like this was a pretty fair criticism towards our intended stated goals, with how we want to separate the skins while keeping them within theme. Jin was just the first execution of this concept, and we hope you can see we put some more effort in setting Breakout True Damage Echo apart from True Damage Echo, while staying still within the existing theme of the original skin. See, here's the thing, in many ways they gave this skin the old Prestige skin treatment. The base idea is the same, but there are some tweaks to the effects and the models, which is fine, though maybe not for $200. But more importantly, I'm not sure if this is the correct feedback to be focusing on. The fact that Dark Cosmic Erasure Jin wasn't too different was actually a benefit. That was the only thing that kept people thinking that they were not really missing out on too much, because you could always just get the original skin, which was just as cool. And the more you get away from this, the angrier people will get. So I'm not sure if this is the right call. We basically made Breakout True Damage Echo a cool hip-hop piano man, with VFX and model changes to support. We added the piano keys visualization to his weapon and the stairs in his recoil, as well as a nostalgic Winamp-esque music visualizer on his weapon. And all of that wouldn't be complete without the accompanying audio changes to add a hip-hop piano melody to existing music. Here, let me try something. Did you hear it? Did you hear the piano they added in? So, the only time I can really hear it is in the recall, but outside of that, I honestly can't tell the difference. The only way this change would make sense if they just totally changed the entire music genre. What if he actually played a hip-hop styled, piano-driven classical performance? Nope, instead it's mostly the same thing. I hope you're all in a good mood for melody, because here's a definitive list of what we all did this time around for Breakout True Damage Echo. Animated music visualizer on his weapon, model and VFX recoloring. Change the VFX element for his Q and W. Change the stairs in his recall to piano keys, alongside some visual effects changes to support it. We also made some sound effect changes to add a hip-hop melody to his existing W music, and slew of other changes to fit the rest of the VFX changes. So, in other words, the model was recolored, the spell effects were recolored, the spell effects on his Q and W changed a little bit, and he got some extra sound effects, most of which you can't really tell apart. Look, I wouldn't really be poking fun at this if we weren't in the situation where we are. What's funny is that this time around people haven't data mined the skin yet, so we still don't know how different his border is going to be from the original. If Jin taught us anything, I have high hopes. And that's really where the news end. At the end they mentioned that of course none of this is really a blueprint for all the future skins to come. They will add in and take away features depending on how it's going to fit. And of course, things are going to change in the future. What is not changing, however, is the fact that these skins are sticking around. Because, simply said, they satisfied their purpose. You thought people were crazy, where in fact, people are crazy because they actually bought the $200 skins. In fact, they bought so many of them that it is worth making more of these. Guys, the revenue is totally going towards the MMO.